We've just had 2 beautiful days in a beautiful Anchorage with lovely clear skies and flat water. It couldn't have been more perfect, and we had our dear friends Ben and Belle on board, which was great.
And they're great company, and it's also good for them as well because obviously they're working on their boat and have been in the marina now for some time. So because they have the same boat as us, it was quite interesting taking them out because they were explaining how similar the feel of the boat is.
They went yesterday evening, and this morning the swell started to come in, which is a pain.
What southerlies we've had have died down, which means that we are exposed once more to that westerly swell. As you might be able to see as I'm moving and rocking around here, the swell comes in from the open sea, and it doesn't take much to get ESPER rocking and rolling.
We were rocking, reeling, and it looks like it's going to be around for a couple of days. So we're moving round to a safer inland Anchorage, which will be nice and flat.
We have another problem as well. We've got to do some editing. We both have to do some editing, and Liz sat down yesterday at her laptop and it's decided to pack up, which presents a bit of a problem because we've got a whole load of videos to edit. And this is where Ben and Belle once again very kindly stepped in and said that they had a laptop which they don't use and were willing to sell.
I'm going to collect my new laptop from Ben and Belle today, so very excited about that.
We're going into Lumut, and there's a big naval base there. There's a lot of markers. There's a bit of industry going on up the river as well, so it's quite busy with tugs, warships, fishing boats, cargo ships. So this way at least we'll keep them in clear view with the AIS and all the other markers. So here's a little test for you. Behind me is the port marker, the red port marker, and in the distance there is the green starboard marker. But in between the two we have this one, which is green, red, green. Now we know what this is, but do any of you out there know what this lateral marker means?
Here we are, we've arrived in beautiful Lumut, and it's completely flat here. What a joy. We can get on with life on board for a couple of days while we stay here. Got the town just over here. Got a lot of grey skies around and a bit of rain here and there, but it should clear up. What do you think of it?
So here we are, this is our stop for the night, and hopefully it will be a whole night. The reason why I question that is because there's quite a bit of weather coming in from the southeast. So we're looking west, southwest, and that's the way the wind has been blowing. But I've just checked the weather radar, and we can hear the thunder already behind these clouds. Behind me are some rather ominous sounding weather coming in. It's an early morning start for our run up to Penang, and immediately you can see on the chart plotter these are the AIS targets and the radar showing a huge number of fishing boats all leaving this particular port. Look at them all. We're going straight through the middle of them. We should really only be seeing a green light as he passes from port to starboard, so we should be looking at his starboard beam, but of course all you can see and all I can see is a red light, and well, perhaps his stern light, except it isn't. So I think a lot of these fishing boats are using big bright lights on the back to cast their nets, and then they're using red lights to attract the fish, and that's what's really throwing us, because we're watching boats go past where we should be seeing the green light, and the most dominant colour of course is the red light, so a little bit confusing there. Here's another boat that you probably can't see, but all I can see is red and green lights, which would suggest he's coming at us, a flashing orange light and a stern light all at the same time. Yeah, Liz and I having a big discussion here. So he was coming up sort of from our hind quarter and coming across us, so at no time should we have seen the green light, and yet I can see his green light the whole way. Fun and games, eh? And this is just the beginning. We've got all of these boats to negotiate. They all appear to be coming out this way. Well, after a very boring day's motor, not even motor sailing, put the sails away because there was typically zero wind, we are now approaching Penang. It's the first channel marker, and we have a bridge to negotiate.
Heading towards the second bridge in Penang, the one at the south end. It's a newish bridge. It's very long, apparently about 10 kilometres long. Just going to go underneath this, and then we'll hang a left and we'll go to our anchorage just off the south side of Anchorage. Just checking to make sure there's nobody coming the opposite way. It's all looking clear at the moment, and we're going to go straight down the middle.
Well, after a nice little yes, I'm doing a piece to camera. Do you want to talk? Do you want to say anything? All right, I was gonna.
Do your bit.
Okay, I'll do my bit, which is that we had a nice sleep in a still anchorage, and despite the karaoke that was going on last night until late, but a little surprise has happened this morning, and it's a continuing saga of problems with anchoring in Penang, and I will hand over to Liz, who will fill us in.
So yesterday before we got here, Jamie got in touch with the municipal marina, which lies at the very end of this little runway here between Anchorage Island and Penang. We wanted to know what we could do, where we were allowed to anchor, because there's been so much kerfuffle all over the place, nobody really knows. So we got it from the horse's mouth. They said here, right here where we are now, and where one other yacht is anchored just in front of us. Come here, you'll be fine, you can stay as long as you like. Great. This morning, having a cup of coffee, a little launch turns up. It's the harbour master, 2 oiks from the harbour master who've been sent round to move us on. Because between Jamie chatting to the marina yesterday and this morning, they've now decided, no, you can't anchor here. So we've now asked, where can you anchor? Because it's very difficult in Penang to find somewhere where you can land your dinghy from the anchor. They've taken Connor from the other boat up to show him where we're allowed to anchor, and when Connor comes back, we'll make a decision. We may not stay in Penang, we may just carry on north and just go to Langkawi and work it out from there, because to be honest with you, right now I'm feeling that Penang doesn't want us here, which is a shame. It's a lovely island.
They're pretty adamant about moving.
Yeah. Even
well,
overnight.
Yeah, so Sweet Talk and Charm has worked slightly in that we're allowed to stay because we're leaving tomorrow.
I think we're
Leave tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. So this ESPER, they are going to do the same. So they are now going to leave tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Together.
Together. 2 boats Langkawi tomorrow. Early.
Yeah,
Same as
just to
this
fill you
one.
in on what Liz was saying about us feeling like we're not really wanted here. There are a couple of Facebook groups with cruisers based in this area, and there has been a lot of discussion about where boats are allowed to anchor, and it seems it's constantly changing. I think one of the problems is that there is a lot of reclamation going on the land, so I can understand that sentiment. But we believe it is more than that. We have heard from a reliable source that it is possibly a bit more than that. But just to give you an example, the reason why we were chucked off of here is because of these fishing boats. Now, not one of these fishing boats has left this spot. So there's a big space of open water here where they can pass us by. We've been in far busier places, so for me that argument doesn't really count. The second thing is, if you look over here as I zoom in, there's a great big expanse of water there by the flyover bridge where there is no reclamation and no fishing boats, and to my mind I see no reason why we couldn't just anchor just here. And then there seems to be a little beach we could take the dinghy ashore, or maybe, as we often do in these parts of the world, is to just tie up the dinghy on one of the municipal jetties here. So why we're not allowed to do this, I don't know. I don't like to be negative about these kind of situations, but I'll reiterate Liz's point. We kind of get the feeling they just don't want us here, which I think is a real shame.
So it was very disappointing. That was possibly our last trip ever to Penang, and we didn't get to go on the island.
Didn't get to go on the islands, didn't get to get our Thai visa. Didn't get to meet some people who have been following us, who had flown all the way over from the States. We were going to meet up with them. Didn't get to meet them either. More on that in a moment. But I thought that it's worth just explaining the situation in a bit more detail, because in the video I had said that we were originally told it was due to the fishermen. Let me just go through all of the reasons that we were given. There was the fishermen. We were told that a yachty recently had got rather inebriated and had fallen into the water whilst trying to get into their dinghy from one of the jetties. We were told a yachty had been running guns, so that was the reason.
Smuggling.
Then we had heard from someone in authority who knows a bit about this, who actually said it has nothing to do with the yachties, but in fact there's some kind of local racket going on. Don't want to speak out of turn. We were given so many different excuses. Another reason was to try and force people into the marina up the road, which had spaces, and so it was a way of getting people into the marina to pay for the marina.
It could have been any of those reasons. It just would have been nice to know what the truth was. And in fact, James of Pangkor, who's a good man, the manager there, he was on the phone to you a lot, and he was trying to resolve the situation, and he kind of intimated that it was beyond his control, didn't he?
And I think James felt pretty bad, and the reason why I was particularly angry is because we have been asked to put together some sort of informal promotional videos for someone based in Malaysia to kind of promote sailing in Malaysia, and it just sort of left a bit of taste in my mouth.
Yeah,
you know?
it did. I mean, to be honest, that's the only time that's happened, and we have far more positive memories of Malaysia.
Of course we do, but it's just that I think what it boiled down to was, without getting into too much trouble or going into too much detail, but there is someone in authority who is throwing a spanner in the works and making it difficult for us yachties because, well, who knows what the reasons are.
In fact, there is a marina. So there's the Straits Key Marina, and that's where we tried to go. So we left that spot and went to the Straits Key Marina because you can anchor outside there. You might be saying, well, why didn't you go into the marina? We couldn't go into the marina. It was absolutely packed because there was a regatta going on. So we couldn't get a space in the marina. And we thought, right, well, we'll anchor outside. It's a good spot. But the weather was way too difficult with big waves. We could not have stayed there. So we had...
Yeah, because the thing is, we had to spend 5 days there to process the Thai visa, so it would have meant anchored there for 5 days. We had weather coming in as well. The weather would have got worse, so it wasn't ideal. But yeah, so I mentioned these people from, I think they're from the States, and they'd been following us, and they had actually flown over to do a recce of Southeast Asia. And they're also a member of some of the local sailing Facebook groups, so they'd been following our progress and also the problems that other yachties have had. And they themselves also said, well, you know, this is a shitty situation. You know,
Yeah.
why would we want to come here? And I think that's the point I wanted to make, was that it only takes one incident like this, and as Liz says, in 5 years we've never really had bad experiences in Asia at all. It's just been wonderful. Malaysia and Thailand and Indonesia are great cruising grounds.
Yeah.
But this one occasion, caused by, we think, one person in authority creating these headaches for people, is enough to put some people off.
Don't let it though.
No,
Try not to let it put you off.
no. Let's end on a positive.
Less.
Talking of positives, we need a few more new patrons to hit that next target. If you remember, this year we want to open up ESPER and get you guys to come on board and come sailing with us. But we only do it when we reach a certain target. We haven't yet reached that target, so please do, if you watch our show and you're a regular viewer and you fancy banging us just a couple of quid a month just to help promote, fund these videos, but also to be in with a chance of coming to join us.
Sure.
Then, you know,
Yeah, could be anywhere.
Head on over to followtheboat.com, thanks, or patreon.com/followtheboat.
Borneo, Philippines, Japan, it's all very exciting. Alaska. Oh, I can't wait.
Can't wait. Happy 2019.
Happy 2019.
Peace and fair winds.